Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Today we want to find out what's cheap CO2 guns, how deadly they really are. I mean, Germany legal 5.5 foot-pound little pistols. So, weak guns, let me show you their features. I know, now everybody is using this 5,000 euro fancy upper torso ballistic gelatin dummies, and I confess they look really cool, but first of all, I don't think that I want to spend 5,000 euros on a thing that will be damaged after one video. And second, I don't think that they're very realistic, because there is no skin, there's typically no clothing, and I'm not sure if the ballistic gelatin and the bone structure is even certified. So I decided to make this little mini super zombie. So what I've done is, first of all, I used a cow bone. Actually, that's actually, I think, it's from the lower part of the leg of a cow, and this is the knee joint. Wolfie chewed on it for a bit and then he didn't want it anymore, so I stole it from him. That is much thicker than any bone that you will find in the human body. So if a projectile from one of these cheap little pellet guns can actually scratch it, so much as scratch it, then I would already be very impressed. But in any case, to simulate the flesh, I took a nice chunk of beef ready for the oven, and I cut it like butterfly style, and then I've wrapped it around the knee joint. And then what I did is I took some of this window cleaning leather, which is really tough. I mean, you can't really tear it at all with your hand, to simulate skin. And then I took my cotton cloth here, just a cleaning rag, and folded it 3 times to simulate 3 layers of t-shirts and shirts and everything. I know that a thick leather jacket will be a different issue, but for our little test I think this should be sufficient. And I will also use my brand new Kronos 2.1 high-speed camera to generate some cool looking footage, hopefully. Okay, typical distance for me will be 3 to 4 meters, because that's a typical home defense distance. And also my target is really small, much smaller than a typical zombie head, would you not agree? We're beginning with the Chapa Rhino revolver, a CO2 gun in the 177 caliber. This probably has maybe 2 foot-pounds, 3 joule or something, because that's all you get when you use CO2, limited pressure, maybe 65 bar, on a small diameter bullet, like a pellet, like 4.5 millimeter 177. So let's test it. Let's inspect the damage. Well, you can see it just dented the whole thing. It didn't even went through the tissue. So there's 2 hits here. Not sure if I hit it with every time, but it's just dented. So next up is the Weihrauch HW80. And this has exactly the 7.5 joule that is legal here in Germany without a license. And this is 22 caliber, so it's significantly bigger and heavier ammo than for the 177. Let's see. Okay. Very interesting. I mean, I think you've seen that I hit him well, right between the eyes, and the pellet is actually stuck in here. But it didn't penetrate even through the layers of the folded t-shirt. Next we're going to take this Eisenherz special pellets, and they actually have a steel tip, and they're actually quite bulky. I mean, look at this. Okay, so for the first time we have penetration. Just right under the right eye, I hit him and it definitely penetrated. Let's find out how deep. Pretty impressive. What do you do when you want more energy from a CO2 cartridge? You go up in bullet diameter. So you get about maybe 3 joule in, that will be around 2 and something foot-pounds in 177 caliber. From 9 millimeter, so 35 caliber onwards, you can achieve about 7.5 joule, 5.5 foot-pounds. And therefore, Umarex brought out this 50 caliber revolver. I think they also have a 68 caliber that in the Germany legal version has been limited to 7.5 joule. And it shoots this big 50 caliber rubber balls from a drum that holds 6 rounds. I don't think I've hit him very often because it's a small target. I'm not a good shooter, and that's a small pistol that doesn't have a rifle barrel. But in any case, I think I hit him a few times. So that's good enough for me. It's pretty clear. So of course you can achieve a higher energy if you increase the bullet diameter. But at the same time, it also means that the pressure per square millimeter will go down, and therefore penetration will be much worse. So that on a 50 cal with just 7.5 joule, you get no penetration, just because all the force is distributed over such a large diameter that you don't get penetration. So is there no way that you can get something deadly from out of a CO2 cartridge or compressed air at 7.5 joule, which is the legal maximum here? Well, let me show you what I came up with. What I have here is actually the just arrived first 50 pieces of my air gun high penetration darts. Let me show you their features. So this is not a blowgun dart. It's based on a blowgun dart, but I've designed it specifically for air guns, for 7.5 joule air guns. This means that this is not just steel wire, it's hardened steel wire, so it's heat treated. And the diameter of this funnel here is not 9 millimeter like on the blowgun darts, it's 9.2 millimeters. Therefore, it is not falling right through the barrel of a 9 millimeter 35 caliber air gun. So you can shoot this from the HP Max in 9 millimeter. You can also shoot it from a newly designed air gun that we will be using today. So this is the FX Airguns Redback, also known as Gatling, even though I'm not supposed to say that. And this is an 8-shooting revolving barrel air gun that is designed to shoot arrows. Now this is the Germany legal 7.5 joule version, so the arrows will be super lame. The benefit of this gun is that you can open it up to the full 150 joule, so it makes it like as powerful as a very, very, very strong crossbow within just a few minutes. So therefore lots of Germans buy it so that they know that they have a good gun should the apocalypse happen. Then they can use their Redback and convert it quickly. This is actually one of the homologation samples that we need for getting the approval by German authorities. It does have 7.5 joule. Now I just put in one arrow. As you see, if you repeat the gun, the barrels will rotate, and then I can shoot. Very, very weak, but also very accurate. Okay, let's give it a try. I don't think there's any chance that this is going to penetrate with that low power. Penetration. Hard to believe, but we do have penetration. Not very much, but a little bit is there. It clearly poked a hole. Just, of course, didn't kill the zombie. No way. I can load this pretty much like I can on a single action Colt revolver from the Wild West, simply by rotating the barrel and then inserting the little dart. Look at that. Deeply penetrated and definitely stuck in the bone. Unbelievable. 7.5 joule. Well, as you see, it's hard to believe, but they entered, flew right through all these layers and then sticks deeply in the bone. Can you believe how painful that must have been? And by the way, I've already did some prototyping. This is all made from wood because I made a pump action kit, and the clue is that you don't have to change anything on the gun, you just put it on. Now I mixed loaded it, 4 darts and 4 regular arrows, and I'm going to shoot at this chest protection suit, see what's going to happen. This would have been really painful for the wearer of this chest armor piece. What happens if you hit soft tissue? Well, we have a pretty decent fresh arrow mat, and I'm going to hit at like a fresh spot here and see what happens when we hit something soft. Of course, as to be expected, the dart went in all the way, and the little funnel was just kicked backwards. It was tremendous speed. That shows you how much energy there still was left. And this is exactly what you see when people hunt with a powerful blowgun. Even though, of course, these air guns are much more powerful than an average person can blow into a blowgun dart. Well, the big question is, of course, how dangerous, how lethal are these? I mean, the diameter is really thin. It's about the same diameter as a 18 gauge injection needle. So pretty thick for an injection needle, but still. The question is that painful? Well, I'm not sure when you last got an injection, but you do feel it, even though, of course, this will come in much harder than any brutal doctor or nurse can do. And also, at some point, it will hit bone, or it will go right through the body. So what happens when this hits bone? I'm not sure. My wife is a radiotherapist, a radio-oncologist, and she's also specialized in bone metastasis. And she says that's very painful. Bone, skin, and also, of course, the bone marrow is very sensitive. So she says she can imagine that this would be painful, even though the needle is thin. But I don't know. I Googled it and I got all kinds of mixed information. So my question to you is, has a doctor or a nurse or whatever ever gave you an injection and then touching your bone? How was that feeling? Was it very painful, or did you not even notice? It would be really helpful if you could just give me a little bit of an experience and write it down into the comments. So what's now going to happen? Well, the darts have already been made available, and the Gatling will also be available very soon. Even though, of course, in England, in the UK, it will be very attractive, I think. While as in the US, it's probably not, because then you can buy the open version and shoot like razor-sharp broadheads on real arrows with a lot of energy. In any case, I also want to develop, and actually working with some suppliers already, on a CO2 revolver that is just like the HDR50, so it also has this punch-to-action thing that pierces the cartridge. It will have 8 or maybe even 10 shots, and instead of a small drum and a longer barrel, it will just have a very long drum, a little bit like a pepperbox revolver, remember those? And so that you can, just like otherwise in a normal CO2 revolver, you can load these darts in, and then you have a really effective home defense, personal defense gun at a very low power with CO2 operation. And if I can get this into the market for around 200 euros, then I think I would have a monster in my hands. Would you not agree? Well, I hope you like this, because that's it for today. Thanks, and bye-bye. It's hard to believe, but 2 of them went all the way through. Whoa.